All right, you can imagine that is getting to be a very big issue here, Charles. Reporting live from Charleston, South Carolina, the site of the second Fox Business News debate. We are honored to have that honor. Only, what, 6-7 weeks after Milwaukee, here we are in the beautiful southern city that will define maybe this presidential race, the first debate of the 2016 presidential season. And it comes at a time when the polls are tightening. And look what has just developed in Iowa, where Ted Cruz has been leading almost throughout these last half dozen or so polls. Now Donald Trump has once again reclaimed the lead in one poll in that crucial first-in-the-nation caucus state. Mr. Trump joins us right now on the phone to handicap this race and where he stands. Donald, good to have you. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Neil.
Were you surprised in these Iowa numbers? Albeit one poll, it's always been a tight race, but this shows you back on top in a state that you said you'd like to win. Maybe New Hampshire's a different story, but this was looking like a different story, that it would be tough for you to win in Iowa. You think you could still win Iowa?
No, I'd really like to win Iowa. I'm trying to win Iowa. We're working hard. I'm going there in a little while. I'll be there a lot, and I'm going to try. We're way up in New Hampshire, way up in South Carolina, but I'm trying to win Iowa. I have a great relationship with the people, and as you probably know, about 2 weeks ago, CNN came out with a poll that I'm 33-20 up. So I think we can win Iowa. You know, I'm doing great with the evangelicals and great with the Tea Party, and we're doing well in Iowa. So, you know, we're going to try and win it. I know it would be easier for me to say, well, if I could do fairly well, and then we go to New Hampshire where where I have a very big lead, but I don't really want to do that. I think we have a good chance to win Iowa.
Do you think that these recent closer poll numbers for Ted Cruz owe to this concern that is he an American citizen, a natural-born citizen? You raised it. John McCain has raised it. Some of his other opponents have raised it, Rand Paul among them. What do you think's going on, and do you think that's a legitimate issue?
Well, it's a very legitimate issue. Even the governor of Iowa, Terry Branstad, he's a highly respected governor, and he brought it up. A lot of people are bringing it up. It's a real problem. Lawrence Tribe of Harvard, who's a constitutional expert, he feels it's something that's totally unsettled. And, the problem you have is if you have him as a candidate, and he's a friend of mine, I like him a lot, but if you have him as a candidate and you don't know whether or not he's even going to be allowed to run or to serve. I mean, how can you be voting that way? And I suggested that he get a declaratory judgment from the courts. You go in early, you get a declaratory judgment, and you settle the issue. But this is an issue, as Lawrence Tribe said, is just not a settled issue at all. And it's a big problem, and many people are seeing it.
But why now? I guess I'm curious. I'm sorry. Why now, Donald, has this become an issue? I mean, obviously you've known, and the two of you seem to get along very well as you've campaigned throughout this long, arduous process. And a lot of people are saying, why now? Why now is this becoming an issue?
Well, first of all, I didn't bring it up. This was brought up by the Washington Post. They asked me a question, one of many, and this was one of the questions. And I said, I have no idea. I just know he was born in Canada. He was not born on this land. And a lot of people think it means you have to be born on the land. You have to be born here. I mean, that's one of the very big interpretations. And that was always what I felt. Years ago when I would hear about this, I always felt you had to be born on the land. You can't be born in Canada. And Ted, I believe, was a citizen of Canada, actually, and gave up his citizenship 15, 16 months ago. And, the whole thing is
his
weird.
Canadian citizenship, yeah.
He was a Canadian citizen. He was a Canadian citizen. So he gave that up probably 14, 15 months ago. The problem is you have a cloud over Ted's head. And that's a big problem because I don't know how you solve it other than going to court and getting a declaratory judgment. I don't see how you can solve it because you know that the Democrats have already announced that they're going to bring a lawsuit.
Let me ask you about the upcoming debates. Rand Paul has indicated because he's on the first debate, the opening debate before the major one that you'll be on, that he's not coming, that he's skipping the debate altogether. What do you think of that?
I can understand why. I mean, he's a United States senator. He was a favorite to win. A lot of people thought he could conceivably win, and I can understand why he wouldn't want to do it. It's a tough thing to do. He's been on the main stage, and now he's being put on a lower stage, and he's just, sitting senator. He's a respected person, and I can understand fully why he wouldn't want to go to the second stage.
But do you think it's a mistake that he's robbed of an opportunity to talk to what would still be a substantial audience?
I don't think it's a mistake. I don't think it's either. I don't think it matters. I mean, frankly, for him, I think what he should do is go back and run for the senator of Kentucky and do a good job as a senator. I think it's not going to make any difference. But I can fully understand why he wouldn't want to go on the second stage.